Hello and welcome back to the channel. Sorry I've been a bit, missing in action lately. Life has just got the better of me and I've just been busy. I had some holidays with my husband, and end of financial year I always find that there's just so much to do. So in saying that, I thought today's video could go over my thoughts on the last financial year, and I give you a bit of insight into how I went. And then also, I'm not sure if you could tell, but behind me, I have moved my office around. So I thought I would show you what I've done and why I've changed it. So one of the big sticking points with my space was that everything was just so, spread out. This room is quite large, which I'm very lucky to have, but it just meant that everything was kind of a little bit farther away than I would have liked it. So if you remember, I actually had this whole wall had these kind of cupboards and benches, and then I had my island kind of in the middle, which was really good when I was posting and packing, but not so much when I was listing and kind of photographing. So I'll take you through the little changes that I've made, and it just feels so much better and so much more efficient already. So one of the simple changes I made was just moving the island. I have just rotated that so I can still use this space on this side if I need to list. Usually I'm doing it at the kitchen table, to be honest, or on the couch. And then I have made this L-shape kind of desk. There is some dead space in the corner, but I'm storing some lights and things like that in there. And I have made like kind of a little office station here, I guess. So I have my laptop, which sometimes I use it standing, but most of the time it's moving around. And in this cupboard used to be my books. So now I have this as kind of like a packing station for my inventory. So I have my numbers and my satchels, I have receipts that I'm gonna keep much better track of this year, and some tape. And then in the other side, it is just the same as it was. It's just my two printers, and I now have this little shelf up here. So I haven't really changed that so much. These drawers are, again, just stationary. So things that I need when I am like listing or just day-to-day stuff. So nothing crazy. I've made an electronic drawer as well for all my gadgets, and then most of those are being used for stock. So this area hasn't changed too much, but the flow of the room has. So this changing and just rotating, it still has all of my posting items, except it doesn't have satchels anymore because my items are already in satchels when they come in. And if I need anything else, it's generally my padded mailers. So they are down here and have been, but this has just been a little bit simplified and cleaned up a little bit. So then we move across to my racks, which again, this hasn't really changed, but the process from here to here is now a lot easier and a lot closer. So these racks I'm actually pulling in kind of close to here, and when I'm listing and inventorying and measuring, they go from here and they go straight on the rack that's moved here. So then I can just move it back when I'm done. And then it's a quick process for my photographs. My corner is still nice and obstructed, and I can take really good photos, and my light is just kind of hanging out in this corner. One of my big issues with photographing was I had nothing to put anything on. So as you remember, this was not here, it was all in this wall, and then my island was kind of still here, but it's a good, couple of steps to get over to any bench space. So this so far has been so good. So in this top drawer, I have all of the things I need for my photos. So my lint brush, my steamer's in the next drawer. Yeah, it's just so handy to have. So my steamer's too big, so it's in the second drawer. And when I am taking things off my mannequin, they're getting folded up and put on this bench. So it's just so much closer and just more efficient, and it feels good. The flow feels really good. So then once they're coming here and this is a bit full, I then start packing them down, which is when these satchels come in handy. I have them up here and then they just flow into their system. So it's working really, really well. I've only had a couple of days using it, but it just feels so much cleaner and fresher, and yeah, it feels better. So the new addition that you may have noticed is this bookshelf. I'm not a huge bookseller, but they were in my cupboard and I just couldn't see them. And I was spending so much time trying to figure out what I had for what set that I was sick of it. So I've got this shelf now and I can at least see stuff. So yeah, it's so much better. Like, I feel really, really good about it. I feel kind of refreshed for the new financial year. So yeah, I'm trying to keep on top of everything, as we always do when we set, these new tasks and new rules for ourselves. But this is the only stock that I have and it's already drafted. So I just have to list that and then my room is back to being clean. I am still trying to do 4 a day, and pretty much all of July up until a couple of days ago, I haven't been. I'd not listed in probably 2 to 3 weeks. So my sales are down, which is fine. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm hoping that the 2025-26 year is my best year yet. So I was going to go over my figures for the year, but I've decided I don't think it's that productive, to be honest. I think there's so many people out there doing really, really great things, and I do think comparison is a thief of joy. So I thought I'd just give you feedback that I'm really happy with the year given my circumstances, and hopefully next year or this year now, I can beat that and I can work on that. So as you already know, this is a second job for me, so I don't have that stress of needing to make bank every single week. So the money that I make from this is just honestly so cool. I put 10% in an investing account from what I pay myself. So my income, 10% goes to investing for my future, for my husband's future. And then the other stuff goes to just really cool stuff. Sometimes there's, like a savings goal we have or something that we want to buy. Probably the thing that's in the works at the moment is we are actually getting a commissioned piece of art for our house, which I know sounds really, I guess, probably kind of up myself, but how cool is that? It's something that I don't have to feel guilty about buying because, this is money that I'm hustling for and it's something that I value, and yeah, it's just really cool. So it changes. We have different goals and different kind of, I guess, the money goes to different things, but there's always some kind of goal. Saying that, I do have big things coming for my income that I'm going to share with you. I just need to kind of figure out what's happening with my life before I commit to that and share it with you. So there may be a video coming about that soon. So yes. Anyway, I thought I would show you, because the fun stuff, I thought I would show you my top 10 sales of the 2025 financial year. So these are just going to be things that I think are fun, that I enjoyed selling. They might not necessarily be the biggest profits, but I thought, what a cool way to kind of reflect on the year, and I can share them with you. Okay, here's some fun stats from last year. So just on eBay, I sold 760 items, and then my average sale price was $75.62, which is pretty cool. I'm very, very happy with that average sale price. I have been aiming to get that higher all year, and I'm getting a lot pickier with the things that I'm picking up. So very, very happy with that. So some other cool stats. So my top categories were women's dresses, which accounted for 31% of my sales. So I've said this on a few videos that it might be cooler weather, but I am still picking up dresses if they are good quality, good brands, items that are gonna sell. It doesn't matter what time of year it is, I'm picking up dresses. My second category, which I thought was kind of interesting actually, was tops. So like, we've all been into the op shops and the top racks are just overwhelming. So that's only at 8%, and that's my second category. So dresses by far outweigh anything else for me. The next category is pants, and pants is a category that I am getting back into. It's not the most fun category for me. It's not fun to photograph. I don't like taking my mannequin apart, but I've got into the habit of actually bulk photographing them, so kind of the mannequins going on and off like consistently. So that accounted for almost 7% of my sales. The fourth one was women's skirts. So again, I've been picking up some really good skirts, really good brands. So I think that's why it accounts for a fair bit of it. And that again is 6%. And then the last category is DVDs, which if you've been following me either on my, my money Instagram for a couple of years, or, now on this, you would have seen that I sell Les Mills DVDs. They're the fitness DVDs. I've been selling them for probably close to 5 years now. I find bulk lots of them and they sell for anywhere between $50 and $90 a pop. So that's accounted for 5% of my sales. So it's really interesting to look at those stats and kind of see where I'm sitting, and it kind of makes me want to lean into these categories more. So, all right, let's get on to the top 10 favorite sales. Okay, since we're already on the topic of the Les Mills DVDs, out of all the categories that I sell, I sold nearly $2,500 worth of DVDs. So that's got to be a favorite. Like, it's a income producing area of my business, and they just kind of tick through. So I find that when I'm having a down week, a couple of these will sell, they bring me up, won't sell any for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden someone buys a bulk lot. So very cool side thing to have in my business, considering I generally sell women's clothes. The next item is this skirt, which is kind of what I was saying before. This is a Spell and the Gypsy skirt. I don't really find a lot of Spell. I find that it's not selling as well as it used to, but this skirt, I found it, I bought it for $7, and I found it was rare. So this skirt ended up selling for oh my God, I wish, $378.77, including postage overseas. So this was just, as you can see, kind of like a midi maxi skirt, brown color. Yeah, so that was a very big surprise, considering I had no idea what I was picking up. Another big sale was this vintage Rip Curl hoodie. I found this one on the north side of Brisbane, and I kind of ummed and ahed, to be honest. It has these kind of wooden toggles and it has the cool old logo, and I think I bought it for $15. So it was kind of a bit, is it too much? I don't know. I'm not really kind of on top of the surf brands. But I happened to put it up on Depop before I listed on eBay, and I had 4 offers in like 3 minutes. And from there, I did some research on a few of the people that had actually offered, and I realized that I'd completely underpriced this item. So I ended up putting it up for $150, did some research, and these wooden toggles on the, this type of jumper was well sought after. So I ended up taking the listing down. And I relisted it, but I ended up putting it on eBay, and it sold within 5 minutes for $315. So just goes to show that even if you've been doing this for years, there is still so much to learn. So I will now be on the lookout for these jumpers, and I will be buying them every single time. All right, the next item is a pair of shoes, and this brand is new to me, and that's why I thought I'd share it with you. I saw these shoes in just one of my local salvos. I thought they looked interesting. They look like hiking shoes. And yeah, I'd never seen them before. So the brand is La Sportiva. These are the Approach hiking shoes. They're Vibram, and I had a look at comps, and the comps look really good. These ones were in near new condition. They might have been worn once. And I ended up getting $214 for them with post. So my buy-in, I think, was maybe $10 from memory. So yeah, really good to still learn about some new brands. And I love selling shoes. They're just so easy to kind of churn over. So that was a fun little sale. I had a few really cool black milk sales this year. I've shared a lot of them on my videos already, but like Black Milk is just such a cool brand in terms of like their prints, they're fun. I could never pull them off, but I really appreciate finding them. So this was a collaboration with Sanrio from memory, and it was a strawberry dress. It was just really, really cool. This one sold for $184.99 with post, and I had multiple offers on this one. So yeah, I'm always looking for Black Milk dresses. Just stay away from the leggings, they don't sell. So the next item is another skirt, and this is by Kitten D'Amour. I, again, wish I could find more Kitten. It sells generally pretty well. This skirt was just a purple A-line kind of knee-length midi skirt. There was nothing that, particular about it. It had nothing crazy going on with it. But this one again was a rare style. It was one of the limited editions. So if you're looking at buying Kitten D'Amour, some of them will actually tell you what release of how many it is. So for example, it might be 40 of 100. So they'll only make a certain amount. So this one was a limited, and supposedly it was rare. So I ended up getting $161.99, including post for this one, which just, again, blew my mind. But happy. The next item is actually a pair of pants, and these ones were a recent sale, I think from either May or June, very recent. These are some pants by Lee Matthews, but they're a Lee Matthews workroom, which is what it says on the tag, workroom. I'd never heard of that before. Again, did some research. Fantastic sell-through rate. These pants sold on the same day. I picked them up for $7, I think, and I sold them for $161.99 with post. So definitely look out for this Lee Matthews workroom. I'll chuck a tag up so that you can have a look. It's worth picking up every single time. The next one is really fun. I have sold this jumper now twice. I initially found it in white maybe a year or so ago, and I found it in this like vintage 80s yellow, and I did pay like $20 for it, but I couldn't leave it behind. It's just so fun. So it's this vintage Benetton jumper. This one sold fairly quickly, I think within the month, and I sold it for $135.99 with post. So this one actually didn't have a size on it. It had worn out, but yeah, I got positive feedback on this one. It's just, yeah, so fun. Like I love the vibe of these. Hopefully I can find another one maybe in my size would be nice for a change. But yeah, happy that one went out to a nice buyer. The next one is some boots, and these are by Jo Mercer. I personally really like Jo Mercer. I buy a lot of her shoes. I find the leather to be just so nice. So these ones are a kind of detailed boot. They're just like a combat boot, but they were in really, really good condition, and I sold them for $126.48 with post. So these did sit around for a while, and I was so surprised, but I think once that cooler weather changed, they went out the door. So the next one I'm going to share is these UGG boots. These ones came in that bulk lot that I did at the start of the year, and I've definitely made my profit on this bulk lot, thank God. It was so much work, but these boots were, I think, tried on. They still had the box. I put them up and they sold fairly quickly, even in the smaller size. They were a size 6.5, I believe, and they went off to America. So they sold for about $126 with post. So nice profit on that one, and I was glad to get rid of them given the small size and, wanting to make profit on that bulk lot. So the next item are these Dish pants. These are just a really kind of basic black linen pant by Dish. These were new with tags. Dish pants have been selling really well for me. So I've sold multiple linen pairs. I've sold some crochet pairs. I've got some lace ones that are about to get listed. Some jeans. I had these phenomenal wide leg kind of jeans that were new with tags as well that sold very quickly. So Dish pants, especially in those kind of natural fibers and really basic colors, sell really well. So these ones ended up selling for $110.99 with post. And sold really, really quickly. So these kind of pants will be hopefully a staple in my store whenever I can find them, because they're just such a consistent, easy seller. So the next one I'm going to share is some books. These were a bit of a surprise find, I guess. I was in one of the local Vinnies, just obviously having a look at the books, and I saw like a whole series of these books. So These are the Morganville Vampire book series by Rachel Kane. I had all 1 to 13, and I think they're at $2 each from memory. And this whole set ended up selling for $110. So I saw them there, I comped them. There was kind of like mish-mash sets available, but no full ones. I priced it a little bit higher and they sold. So yeah, I really do enjoy books when they're more sets. So that's kind of what I've got behind me. I like to collect sets and then put them up. I'm not really like a single kind of book seller, and I'm not looking for low-end books at all. So I was really happy with that. They turned over fairly quickly as well, and it was just one of those moments where you're just really happy that you kind of lent in to like your instinct. So yeah, I was really, really happy to have those ones out the door. All right, I don't know what I'm up to, but I'm going to do 2 more. So the next item is, well, I've got a few pairs, but let's pick this one. A pair of Vivaya shoes. These shoes are made out of recycled plastics and some other odd materials, but these sell for like, you know, online retail price of like $200 to $300. So I found a few pairs of these, and it's a great day in the op shops, in the thrift, when you can find a pair of Vivayas. So these ones were the Margot Mary Janes. They had this really cute like almond toe, and yeah, they were very cute. And they ended up selling for $100.99 with post. These ones sell consistently for over $90 if they're in really good shape. So this brand is definitely one to look out for. Okay, and what item to pick for the last one of the day? Let's go with something really, really simple. So I really like this item because it kind of fit outside of the normal realms for this brand. So this is just a simple grey cardigan by Trenery, but the thing about this one was it was merino wool and it was new condition. So I picked this one up for $5 or $10 and ended up flipping it for $86 with post. So Trenery has slid down over the years, and yeah, it's not selling as well as it used to, but this was in perfect condition. And yeah, just goes to show that if you're looking for items that people are looking for or materials that are sought after, your item will sell. So very, very happy with this one, and a cardigan, you know, for that $80 mark is pretty great. Okay friends, that's it. That's all I've got for you for this video. Kind of a bit of a mishmash. I just really wanted to get something out, and I know it's kind of all over the place. Probably haven't given you as much insight as I was hoping to, but that is life. So hopefully I have some more content coming soon. I am actually heading to Adelaide at the end of this month. So I am gonna take my camera and I'm gonna try and be really, really brave and film. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. Give me some feedback if you didn't love it or there's something that you wanna see from me. But yeah, until next time, bye guys.